Now, you mentioned there forensic SEO. Is that similar to problem solving, or how detailed do you go yourself?
Oh, with forensic SEO, I'm talking about basically site auditing for recovery. So I do a lot of site audits. I always audit a site before I do any SEO on it because I don't do cookie cutter SEO. So I tell the client, like, we do an audit first, we reduce, your costs, and we put your money where it needs to be. So I do site health auditing, which is forensics, but the real forensic are on the site. The algorithms roll out, and then they did devastate a site, and then figuring out how to recover a site. So I know how most ranking systems work well enough that I know which levers to push to get the site back. Some of the newer ones we don't know enough about yet, but we have ideas. And then also manual actions as well. So, like one client came to me, they've been down for like 24 months on a manual action. And it took us 2 tries, but we got all their traffic back. And then the craziest one I had, if you want me to take a minute, do you want me to take a
Yeah,
minute?
go ahead.
The craziest one I had was a $2 billion company. I walk in and I see that their fourth most trafficked keyword doesn't make, it's just 4 letters, but it's not in their catalog. It's not one of their products. It's not in any of their descriptions. So I go search online and it's a porn site. And I find out the site is what they call a cross-scripting vulnerability, which means someone's able to divert traffic to their site by using the position of this site. So therefore, the biggest keyword was a porn term on a vulnerability that had been on the site so long that the Department of Justice had fined them for it 8 years earlier. And one of the big hackers in the world wrote an article about it, but it was still there. So we go in and find out that they also had an open search box. This is what forensics is, right? You follow the keyword, and then you find out it's a porn site, and you find out there's an access vulnerability. And then you find out that their search box creates pages that are indexable, and any words you put in there go in the title, the description, the H1, and the URL. So that had been on the site for 20 years. So the site had 20 years of spam pages, but because it was a React site, they had no catalog of those pages. There was, unless you could crawl it, there's no way for them to know the page exists. That's why I always tell people the React sites, every time a page is created, make sure you record that in a database. So we found out everything from like ringtones to Mozilla downloads to things I'm not going to say on your program,
Yeah.
to really, really bad statements against religious figures. And then, of course, this porn spam, and then found out there were 13 million Russian porn spam links. And because they matched the page, the words, Google didn't discount them. So they were ranking. Or if you looked up that porn site information, the porn information, they're ranking in the top 4 because they're using this company's information. So, so that led to a manual action for user-generated content being delivered by Google 4 weeks before Black Friday on a $2 billion e-commerce site, right? So fortunately, I had gotten the VP to agree to fix it. Took a little bit of finagling back in June. So we had already started, but we weren't there yet. So Google, that's when Google gave you URLs, to fix. So we just fixed those and we resubmitted. And I was like, ringing a prayer. It's a big e-commerce site, and we fixed the URLs they gave us, and maybe they'll delay the penalty and the devaluation is not a penalty. And they did till right after the second week in December. So then we had to go through and find we couldn't blacklist terms because it was a fashion site. So, and like clothing and all sorts of things, apparel. So they used terms that you might use in porn in clothing names or descriptions. So we had to go through 300,000 URLs to find which ones actually garnered traffic, and then make sure they were all whitelisted to get traffic in the future.